The warning came too late. When the distress signal finally reached Earth from the mining outpost on Proxima Centauri, the settlement had already been under attack for 4 hours. Commander Maya Chen stood in the heart of Seoul Defense Command, watching the holographic display with growing tension as the last transmissions from humanity's first extrasolar colony played out before her. Unknown vessels, massive energy signatures, weapons unlike anything we've... Wait. The colony administrator's voice crackled through quantum static. They're pulling back. Something about our defense grid is. They seem confused. We're still here, still fighting. Maya's dark eyes narrowed as she studied the sensor data streaming alongside the audio. The attacking fleet's energy readings were off the charts, suggesting technology far beyond humanity's current capabilities. Yet somehow, the colony's hastily assembled defense network, little more than modified mining lasers and makeshift shields, had managed to hold them off. Analysis, she asked, turning to Dr. Marcus Rivera, Earth's leading xenotechnology expert. The scientist was already deep in the data, his augmented reality interface painting his face in a ghost light of scrolling numbers. "It's fascinating," he murmured. "Their weapons are incredibly advanced, but they're inefficient, like using a sledgehammer to drive a nail. Our systems, while technically primitive by comparison, are precise, elegant. They're having trouble adapting to our approach." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had always assumed first contact would reveal their technological inferiority. Instead, they were discovering that their supposedly primitive solutions might hold unexpected advantages. Admiral James Wong, the highest-ranking officer present, spoke up. "How long until the QRF reaches Proxima?" "The Quick Response Force will arrive in 18 hours, Maya responded. "The Achilles and the Thunderchild are leading the response." She paused, considering. "Sir, request permission to deploy with them. We need eyes on the ground for this." Wong nodded slowly. "Granted. But, Commander, this is observation only. We're not ready for a full-scale engagement with an unknown species." Maya was already moving toward the exit when new alerts flashed across the command screens. Dr. Rivera's voice carried across the room, tight with urgency. "Multiple quantum signatures detected. They're not waiting for us to come to them." The alien fleet had made the jump to Sol. Humanity's first interstellar war was about to begin, and it would reveal strengths they never knew they possessed. Hours later, Maya stood on the bridge of the UES Thunderchild as it prepared to make the quantum jump to Proxima. The ship hummed with nervous energy, its crew a mix of veteran space operators and hastily promoted cadets. No one had expected to be testing their combat readiness quite so soon. "Engineering reports ready," Lieutenant Sarah O'Connor announced from her station. "Hugh drive spooled and stable." Maya acknowledged with a nod, her mind already racing through combat scenarios. The aliens' attack pattern at Proxima had been revealing. They relied heavily on overwhelming force, seemingly unused to opponents who could adapt quickly to their tactics. "All hands, this is the commander," she announced shipwide. "We're about to make history. Humanity's first interstellar combat deployment. The enemy we face has superior technology, but they've never encountered humans before. They don't know what we're capable of. Let's show them." The quantum drive engaged, reality twisted, and the Thunderchild led Earth's first war fleet into the unknown. When they emerged in the Proxima system, the scene that greeted them was unexpected. The alien fleet remained, but they were holding position at a distance from the colony, their formation suggesting confusion rather than aggression. "Multiple energy spikes," O'Connor reported. "They're scanning us." "Wait. Something's wrong with their systems. Their scans keep bouncing off our hulls irregularly." Dr. Rivera, who had insisted on joining the mission, laughed suddenly. "It's the metamaterials we use in our hull plating. We developed them to handle solar radiation and space debris, but they're creating interference patterns with their sensor systems. They literally can't get a clear read on us." Maya allowed herself a small smile. a technological advantage born from solving practical problems rather than pursuing pure military capability. It was perhaps the most human solution possible. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Let's see if they're ready to talk." The response came not in words but in action. The alien fleet's formation shifted, weapons charging, but Maya had anticipated this. "Execute pattern Delta," she commanded. The human ships moved in perfect coordination, their formations seemingly random but precisely calculated. Mining lasers, repurposed for defense, fired in synchronized patterns that created overlapping fields of destructive interference. The aliens' energy shields, designed to repel massive energy attacks, proved vulnerable to this more surgical approach. The first battle between humanity and an alien force lasted less than 30 minutes. When it was over, 3 alien ships had been disabled, their crews evacuating in sleek escape pods, while the others retreated in disarray. As Maya watched the alien fleet vanish into quantum space, she knew this was only the beginning. They would return, better prepared and more numerous. But humanity would be ready. They had discovered something crucial in this first engagement. Their greatest strength wasn't in raw power or advanced technology, but in their ability to find unexpected solutions to seemingly insurmountable problems. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. Tell them we're going to need more ships, and tell them to keep thinking like humans. It might just be our best weapon." In the 3 months following the Proxima incident, Earth underwent a transformation unlike anything in human history. The massive underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, dubbed the Forge by its residents, had become the epicenter of humanity's technological revolution. Dr. Marcus Rivera stood before a wall of holographic displays, each showing different aspects of their captured alien technology. Beside him, Commander Maya Chen watched as teams of engineers and scientists worked to understand not just how the alien tech functioned, but why it functioned the way it did. "It's beautiful, in a way," Marcus said, gesturing to a partially disassembled alien power core. "Their technology is incredibly advanced, but it's also rigid. They've been using the same basic principles for so long, they've stopped looking for alternatives." Maya nodded, remembering how the alien ships had struggled against Earth's supposedly primitive defenses. "And that's our advantage." "Exactly. Look at this." Marcus brought up a new display showing the energy signature of an alien weapon. "Their weapons are designed to overwhelm any defense through sheer power. But our analysis shows that nearly 60% of that energy is wasted. It's like using a nuclear bomb to open a door." The comparison was apt. Humanity had learned early in its technological development that efficiency and precision often mattered more than raw power. Now that lesson was proving to be their greatest asset in preparing for the coming war. In another section of the Forge, Sarah O'Connor, now promoted to lieutenant commander, was overseeing the integration of human innovations into their growing fleet. The Thunderchild's success had provided a template, but they were pushing far beyond those initial advantages. The metamaterial hull plating was just the beginning. She explained to a group of visiting admirals. "We've developed a new system we call the Adaptive Defense Matrix. It analyzes incoming energy signatures and reconfigures our shields in real time, using the enemy's own power against them." The demonstration that followed left even the most skeptical observers convinced. A captured alien weapon, firing at full power, couldn't penetrate the prototype shield. Instead, the energy was absorbed, redirected, and used to strengthen the barrier further. But humanity's greatest breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a quantum physicist who had spent her career studying the seemingly random fluctuations in quantum fields, made a discovery that would change everything. The aliens use quantum technology for their FTL drives. She explained to Maya and Marcus during a late-night session. But they treat quantum space like a highway, fixed routes, predetermined exit points. "We've been studying quantum mechanics differently. We see it as an ocean, with currents and eddies that can be navigated freely." Her team had developed what they called quantum surfing, a method of FTL travel that allowed human ships to ride quantum fluctuations, making their movements unpredictable and nearly impossible to track. Combined with their efficient weapons and adaptive defenses, it gave Earth's forces a mobility advantage that would prove crucial in the battles to come. The aliens, dubbed the Vaneth by Earth's linguistic experts after decoding some of their communications, had clearly underestimated humanity's capacity for rapid advancement. Intelligence suggested they were used to dealing with species that developed along predictable technological paths. Humanity's divergent evolution and problem-solving approach had created a technological foundation that the Vaneth struggled to counter. As Earth's first true battle fleet took shape in orbital shipyards, Maya found herself back at Sol Defense Command, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. The Vaneth were gathering a massive fleet, far larger than the force that had attacked Proxima. But intercepted communications suggested something unexpected. They were afraid. "They're calling us the Quantum Ghosts," Marcus said, translating a recently decoded transmission. "Our ships appear and disappear at will, strike from impossible angles, and shrug off their most powerful weapons. We're not fighting the way we're supposed to." Maya smiled grimly. "Good. Let them be afraid. Fear might make them think twice about continuing this war." But both of them knew the Vaneth wouldn't back down. Their empire had expanded unchallenged for too long. They couldn't accept the existence of a species that threatened their technological supremacy. The real test would come soon. Earth's sensors had detected large Vaneth fleet movements. They were gathering their forces for what would likely be a massive assault on the Sol system. But humanity would be ready. In the Forge's main hangar, the newest class of human warship was nearing completion. The UES Prometheus gleamed under the artificial lights, its hull incorporating every advancement they'd developed. It wasn't the largest ship humanity had built, nor the most heavily armed by conventional standards. But like everything humans created, it was adaptive, efficient, and capable of fighting in ways the Vaneth had never imagined. As Maya walked through the facility one last time before departing for her new command, she passed dozens of teams working on projects that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Humans had always been at their best when facing extinction-level challenges, and this was no exception. "Ready to make history again, Commander?" Marcus asked, falling into step beside her. Maya looked up at the Prometheus, its quantum drive already humming with potential. "History is about to learn why you should never back humans into a corner. We don't just fight back, we rewrite the rules of the game." The diplomatic chamber aboard the neutral station Helios Point was unlike anything humanity had encountered before. The vast circular room accommodated representatives from 12 different species, each requiring their own unique environmental conditions. Some floated in bubbles of exotic gases, others were projected as holographic avatars, and a few appeared almost humanoid, though the similarities ended at basic body structure. Ambassador Elena Santos, Earth's chief diplomat, stood before this assembled council, her voice clear and steady. "The Vaneth Empire's aggression cannot be ignored any longer. Their attack on our colony was just the beginning. We have evidence they're planning similar strikes against the Meridian Collective and the Cyrax worlds." A ripple of communication passed through the chamber. The Cyrax representative, a crystalline being that communicated through pulses of light, flashed in agitation. The universal translator converted its signals. "The Vaneth have long claimed technological supremacy, using it to justify their expansion. But your species has demonstrated that their advantage may not be as absolute as they believe." Elena nodded. "Precisely. Humanity's different approach to technology has proven effective against their conventional warfare methods. We're not here to ask for protection. We're here to propose an alliance. Together, we can end the Vaneth threat once and for all." The Meridian representative, a being of pure energy contained within an advanced mechanical shell, moved forward. "We have studied the records of your encounters with the Vaneth. Your quantum surfing technology particularly interests us. It suggests possibilities we had not considered." "That's the key," Elena explained. Each of our species has developed along different technological paths, solving problems in unique ways. The Vaneth's mistake is assuming their path is the only valid one. Together, we can combine our different approaches, creating something they can't predict or counter. The chamber erupted in discussion. The Helios Point Station's AI translated multiple conversations simultaneously, creating a symphony of diplomatic discourse. Some species were eager to ally with Earth, seeing an opportunity to break the Vaneth's dominance. Others were more cautious, worried about committing to what could become a devastating war. Meanwhile, light years away, Commander Maya Chen was proving humanity's worth in a more direct manner. The UES Prometheus led a joint patrol with ships from the Meridian Collective, investigating reports of Vaneth scout vessels near the Epsilon Eridani system. Energy spike. Lieutenant Park called out from his sensor station. 3 Vaneth destroyers decloaking off our port bow. Maya remained calm. Signal our Meridian allies to hold position. Let's show them what we can do. The Prometheus's quantum drive hummed to life, but instead of retreating, the ship executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. It surfed a quantum wave directly through what the Vaneth considered solid space, emerging behind their formation. The alien ships tried to track the human vessel, their weapons charging, but the Prometheus was already gone, appearing at another seemingly impossible position. Each time it surfaced from quantum space, its adaptive weapons struck with surgical precision, disabling key systems without destroying the vessels. The Vaneth are retreating, Park reported, and we're receiving a transmission from the Meridian ships. They're impressed. Back at Helios Point, news of the encounter spread quickly through the assembled diplomats. The Meridian representative's report confirmed what many had hoped. Humanity's technological innovations could effectively counter Vaneth's superiority. A new alliance began to take shape. The Meridian Collective offered their expertise in energy manipulation, which could enhance human quantum drive technology. The Seracs shared their crystalline computing systems, which proved remarkably compatible with Earth's adaptive defense matrices. Even the enigmatic Zorn, ancient beings who rarely involved themselves in galactic politics, expressed interest in human ingenuity. Your species is young. The Zorn representative communicated directly to Elena's mind, their preferred method of interaction. But you see patterns that older races have forgotten to look for. Perhaps this is why the Vaneth fear you so much. The alliance was formalized within days. Each species would contribute their unique technologies and approaches, creating a combined force unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Human shipyards began incorporating alien advancements, while Earth's innovations were adapted for use by their new allies. Dr. Marcus Rivera found himself working with a team of alien scientists, each bringing their own perspective to humanity's technological breakthroughs. It's fascinating, he told Maya during a quantum-linked communication. The Meridians have helped us understand why our quantum surfing works so well. We were accidentally tapping into something they call the quantum substrate. With their help, we've improved efficiency by 300%. But time was running out. Long-range sensors detected massive Vaneth fleet movements. The Empire was gathering its forces for a major offensive, determined to crush this alliance before it could grow stronger. Elena's final address to the Council was brief but powerful. The Vaneth believe that their path of technological development is the only valid one. They see our differences as weaknesses to be eliminated. But we know better. Our diversity is our strength. Our unique approaches, combined, create something greater than the sum of its parts. They thought they could isolate and destroy us one by one. Instead, they've united us. And together, we will show them that there is no single path to the future. As the Allied fleet began to gather, ships of different species moving in formations that would have been impossible months ago, Maya stood on the Prometheus's bridge, watching the spectacular display. Human quantum surfing technology had been combined with Meridian energy manipulation and Sirac's crystalline computing, creating vessels that could move through space in ways the Vaneth had never imagined possible. The Vaneth wanted to teach us our place in the galaxy, she said to her crew. I think it's time we taught them about the power of thinking differently. The Vaneth attack began exactly as predicted, yet somehow managed to surprise everyone. Their massive fleet didn't target Earth or any of the major worlds of the Alliance. Instead, they struck at seemingly random systems across 100 light-years of space, hitting minor colonies and outposts with overwhelming force. Commander Maya Chen stood in the Alliance Strategic Command Center, watching as red alerts bloomed across the galactic map. The Vaneth fleet had somehow managed to coordinate simultaneous strikes across vast distances, something that should have been impossible given known FTL communication limitations. They've developed some form of quantum entanglement communication, Dr. Marcus Rivera observed, his fingers dancing across holographic displays as he analyzed the attack pattern. But look at the energy signatures. They're burning through resources at an unsustainable rate. The Meridian representative's mechanical shell hummed with agitation. This is typical Vaneth strategy. Overwhelming force without concern for efficiency. But the scope is unprecedented. The Meridian representative's mechanical shell hummed with agitation. This is typical Vaneth strategy. Overwhelming force without concern for efficiency. But the scope is unprecedented. Maya studied the attack pattern more closely, something tugging at the edge of her consciousness. The Vaneth strikes seemed random, but humanity's recent experiences had taught them that apparent chaos often concealed deeper patterns. Run it through the new quantum analysis system, she ordered. The one we developed by combining human pattern recognition with Sirac's crystalline computing. The result appeared almost instantly, and Maya's suspicion was confirmed. These aren't random attacks. They're creating a quantum resonance pattern across space itself. Each strike is like a tuning fork, setting up vibrations in the quantum substrate. The Zorn representative, who had been silent until now, suddenly projected a sense of urgent concern into everyone's minds. They seek to destabilize the quantum fields themselves. If successful, they would make quantum surfing impossible, trapping our ships in normal space where their superior numbers would prevail. It was a brilliant strategy. The Vaneth had recognized that they couldn't match the Alliance's mobility advantages, so they were trying to change the fundamental rules of space combat. But in doing so, they had revealed something crucial about their own capabilities. Look at their fleet movements, Maya pointed out. They have to maintain precise positions to sustain this quantum resonance pattern. They're locked into these locations as surely as if they were anchored there. The Alliance quickly developed a counter-strategy. While the Vaneth expected them to rush to defend their attacked outposts, the combined fleet would instead strike at the linchpin positions of their resonance pattern. The UE's Prometheus led one of the strike forces, accompanied by ships of various Alliance species. Their combined technologies allowed them to approach through quantum space in ways the Vaneth sensors couldn't detect. Maya watched from her bridge as the final preparations were made. All ships, this is Commander Chen. The Vaneth think they can predict how we'll react because they believe their understanding of technology is superior. Let's show them what happens when different species work together to solve problems. The attack began. Alliance ships emerged from quantum space at precisely calculated points, their weapons already firing. Human adaptive defense systems combined with Meridian energy manipulation allowed them to slip through the Vaneth's supposedly impenetrable shields. Sirac's crystalline computers coordinated their strikes with impossible precision. The Vaneth responded with overwhelming force, just as expected. But their rigid formations, necessary to maintain the quantum resonance pattern, made them predictable. The Alliance fleet danced through their lines, striking critical systems and disappearing before the massive alien ships could bring their main weapons to bear. Their resonance pattern is destabilizing, Marcus reported through the quantum link. But we're detecting massive energy buildup in their flagship. They're attempting something. The Vaneth flagship, a vessel larger than anything humanity had ever encountered, began to pulse with energy. The quantum substrate itself seemed to shiver in response. Maya realized what they were attempting. a last-ditch effort to collapse quantum space across the entire sector. "All ships, emergency protocol Omega," she ordered. "Implement the quantum anchor procedure." This was something they had developed but never tested in combat. A combination of human quantum surfing principles, meridian energy manipulation, and Sirac's computing precision. Every Alliance ship activated their modified drives simultaneously, creating a stable quantum matrix that could resist the Vaneth's attempt to destroy the quantum substrate. The space between the two fleets became a battlefield of competing quantum fields. The Vaneth's brute force approach crashed against the Alliance's more elegant solution. Energy discharges lit up normal space like artificial stars as two fundamentally different approaches to physics battled for supremacy. Maya felt the Prometheus shudder as the quantum forces threatened to tear reality apart. But the Alliance ships held formation, their combined technologies working in perfect harmony. Slowly, inevitably, their stabilizing influence began to overcome the Vaneth's destructive resonance. The alien flagship's energy signature suddenly spiked, then collapsed. Their attempt to destroy the quantum substrate had failed, and in doing so, had burned out their most powerful weapons. Across the battlefield, other Vaneth ships began to lose their carefully maintained positions. "Their resonance pattern is breaking down," Marcus announced. "The quantum substrate is stabilizing under our influence." "We've done it." But Maya knew this wasn't the end. The Vaneth fleet was damaged, but not destroyed, and their leader's pride would never allow them to retreat. As she watched their ships begin to regroup for a conventional assault, she realized that the real battle was just beginning. "All ships, prepare for Phase 2, she ordered. The Vaneth wanted to play their game, with their rules. Now let's show them how we play ours. The Vaneth fleet regrouped with mechanical precision, their remaining ships forming an attack pattern that had likely won them countless battles across millennia of warfare. But this time, they faced something they had never encountered before. An enemy that didn't play by their rules. Commander Maya Chen watched the massive alien vessels maneuver into position from the bridge of the Prometheus. The Vaneth's failed attempt to destroy the quantum substrate had cost them their most powerful weapons, but they still outnumbered the Alliance fleet 3-1. "All ships, execute Operation Mosaic," Maya ordered. This was the strategy they had developed for exactly this scenario, one that exemplified the combined strengths of the Alliance. The fleet split into smaller groups, each combining vessels from different species. Human ships with their quantum surfing technology provided mobility. Meridian vessels contributed their mastery of energy manipulation. Sirac ships added their computational precision. And the few Zorn vessels present contributed something entirely unique: their ability to influence probability itself. "The Vaneth are responding exactly as predicted," Dr. Marcus Rivera reported from the tactical station. "They're splitting their fleet to engage each of our groups." Maya smiled grimly. The Vaneth's tactical doctrine was so deeply ingrained that they couldn't help but respond in predictable ways. They saw the Alliance fleet dividing and automatically moved to engage each group with superior numbers. What they didn't realize was that this was exactly what the Alliance wanted. "Begin Phase 2, Maya commanded. The battle that followed would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. Each Alliance battle group engaged their Vaneth pursuers differently, presenting the aliens with multiple tactical puzzles simultaneously. When the Vaneth adapted to one approach, the groups would switch tactics, sharing successful strategies through their quantum-linked communications. Human ships would quantum surf behind Vaneth vessels, emerging at precisely calculated points where meridian energy weapons could penetrate their weakened shields. Sirac's computers predicted Vaneth maneuvers with uncanny accuracy, allowing the Alliance to be one step ahead of every move. And the Zorn's probability manipulation made certain unlikely events, like critical system failures on Vaneth ships, occur at strategically perfect moments. "Their formation is breaking down," Marcus announced. "They can't maintain tactical cohesion while responding to so many different threats." The Vaneth's greatest strength, their rigid adherence to proven tactical doctrine, had become their greatest weakness. They couldn't adapt quickly enough to the Alliance's constantly shifting strategies. Ships that had conquered 1,000 worlds found themselves outmaneuvered by vessels they had dismissed as primitive just months ago. But the Vaneth flagship, a behemoth of advanced technology, remained untouched at the heart of their fleet. Its commander, finally recognizing the true threat the Alliance posed, prepared for one final desperate gambit. Massive power surge from the Vaneth flagship, Marcus warned. They're channeling all remaining power to their primary weapon systems. Energy readings are off the scale. Maya understood immediately what they were attempting. Unable to adapt tactically, they were falling back on their most basic strategy, overwhelming force. The flagship was preparing to unleash enough raw power to obliterate everything within a light minute, including their own fleet. All ships, execute Harmony Protocol, Maya ordered without hesitation. This was the riskiest strategy the Alliance had developed, one that required perfect coordination between all their different technologies. Human quantum drives created a network of interconnected fields throughout the battle space. Meridian energy manipulators tapped into this network, while Sirac's computers calculated the precise resonance frequencies needed. The Zorn added their probability manipulation, making the nearly impossible merely unlikely. Together, they created something entirely new, a quantum energy matrix that could catch and redirect power on a massive scale. When the Vaneth flagship fired its weapon, the blast was greater than anything humanity had ever witnessed. A wave of pure energy expanded outward, powerful enough to tear apart the fabric of space itself. But instead of destroying the Alliance fleet, the energy was caught in their quantum matrix, channeled and redirected through precisely calculated paths. The Vaneth watched in disbelief as their ultimate attack was turned aside, not by superior shields or more powerful weapons, but by the combined ingenuity of species they had dismissed as inferior. The redirected energy dispersed harmlessly into space, leaving their flagship drained and vulnerable. "Signal the Vaneth flagship," Maya ordered. "Let's see if they're ready to discuss terms." The response came quickly. The Vaneth, for the first time in their long history, surrendered. Their defeat at the hands of the Alliance had shattered their belief in their own supremacy. More importantly, it had shown them that there were other paths to advancement, other ways of thinking about technology and warfare. In the days that followed, as the Alliance fleet escorted the remaining Vaneth ships to designated containment areas, Maya found herself in discussion with representatives from all the allied species. They were already talking about maintaining their cooperation, about sharing technologies and ideas in peacetime as they had in war. The Vaneth's greatest mistake, she told the assembled representatives, wasn't underestimating any one of our species. It was failing to understand that different approaches to technology, to problem solving, to thinking itself, could be combined into something greater than the sum of its parts. The Zorn representative projected agreement. "Your species showed us this truth. Humans may be young, but you see connections that we, in our age, had forgotten to look for." As Maya looked out at the stars from the Prometheus's observation deck, she reflected on how much had changed in so short a time. Humanity had gone from a species taking its first steps into interstellar space to a key member of a galactic alliance. They had faced down an empire that had dominated space for millennia, not through superior technology or greater numbers, but through the uniquely human traits of adaptability and innovative thinking. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity, along with their new allies, would lead the way into a future where diversity of thought and approach was recognized as the greatest strength of all.